Antioch, promoting successful business experts, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Juana Whitmore, business strategist, founder of NextFemme Financial, and Juana Whitmore Consulting, a university professor. So, Juana, how can social capital influence the success of entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so what I want to do is really address what most people's networks look like from the small business world. Most people are networking with people who are like them, have similar experiences, located in similar locations. And therefore, their access to things are limited to that group of people. So when you really expand your network or your social capital, as we're now starting to call it here as of recent years, the first thing you're going to get is access to new resources that you didn't have in your old network, right? So hopefully these are people who have access to different connections, so expanding your network, different opportunities, right? So if you are selling products or services, potentially you get access to companies that you didn't have access to before, or customers. The second thing really is knowledge. Right. So hopefully you're expanding your network with people who know more than you do. Right. And so,
or at least think they do, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you're getting some more information and knowledge that you didn't have before. I think the third one is one that people don't necessarily want to admit to or talk about, but that is getting credibility. You have if the network is the right network that you're expanding to, you have the ability to name drop, right?
Right.
Yeah. I know so-and-so, or I know this person, and that gives you more credibility depending on how well you've built your network, right?
Because in the end, business is about people.
Absolutely. It's about who you know and being in the right place at the right time, because the truth is, to your point, the world is full of great ideas and even great executors, and many of them don't make it or don't have viable, sustainable businesses. And so much of it is about who you know and how well those folks can help you get to other people who can help you, right? And then I think one of the last ones for me really is that emotional and moral support. So hopefully that social capital becomes also a group of mentors for you who can provide you not only information, but also some emotional support. And, kind of that push that you may need when things get tough, because they will get tough in small business. They always do.
They seem to be more tough than not.
Right. Exactly. So making sure that you are expanding your network with folks who have that ability to support you, not only with knowledge, but also emotionally.
Well, I found that most people are up to that. I don't call them emotional crutches, but that's not the proper word. But I think the support coming from that is that feedback that, I've done this before and this is what happened to me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen to you, but it helps you wake up.
Yeah, I think, entrepreneurship is no different than a lot of other things. A lot of people think that they're always in it alone, right? They're in it alone. No one else has been through what I've been through. This is unique to me. And it isn't, right? Kind of to your point, it isn't. There are people out there who have done what you're trying to do, who have gone through the things that you're going through and can offer some, at least, advice in that area.
And I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile, and I see that you've been around the States, quite a few places. And at the beginning, you mentioned, obviously, we start our network locally. What you've done, for what I've seen, you've made a lot of local connections in different places. We tend to say everything's the same, but is it the same in different locations? How do you tailor your relationships as you moved around?
Yeah, I did a lot of my moving when I was younger, but I think where I really started to understand how to build a network that wasn't just geographically local was when I started to support entrepreneurs and realizing that the needs of entrepreneurs are different, not macro different, but micro different, right? Depending on the geography, oftentimes because their customers are different. Right. So, when you are serving different customers, and if we look at kind of Esri's data on consumers across the country, people are typically living around like people, right? And so if, when we start to understand that, we can really, to your point, tailor how we build our networks, and looking for similar groups in different geographies or different groups in the same or close geography, right? So
what I hear you saying then is to develop a process that you can replicate as you move.
Yes, I always think process.
I mean, it actually is, but most people don't look at it as a process. So it's
no, yeah, and I, one of the tools that I used to think about that was a professional network map. So I've got categories of who do I want to know in so in politics, who do I want to know in academia, who do I want to know in nonprofit, and then I determine who those people are. What can I bring to them? Because it can't be a one-way relationship. What do I hope to get from them? And how do I hope to maintain the relationship over time? So when you build that network map, if you have blanks across these categories, that's your cue to go and look. In LinkedIn, I'm old. I'm in my 50s. When I was younger, starting some of my first businesses,
Excuse me, but
LinkedIn wasn't even a thing.
50 for me is still young.
Okay. But LinkedIn, yeah. So the babies don't understand what we had to do back in the day, right? But LinkedIn wasn't even a thing, and so
that's true.
Once you understand what these gaps are, you can then use LinkedIn to find those people who are outside of your immediate network, but still have like second and third tier connections. So I think that's a really great approach.
Very good. Now I'm looking at your site, which is NextFemme Financial. And I
it
see
launches
there
on
it says
Sunday.
Empowering Women for Financial Success.
Yes.
And you have a free wellness quiz. So are you focused just on women, or what's happening there?
So I've got two businesses. One of them is Whitmore Consulting, where I consult all kinds of businesses, regardless of who owns them. But what I was recognizing as I have been consulting businesses for so long, that there's really a gap in personal financial knowledge, and that gap is more prevalent for women entrepreneurs. And it affects how well their businesses perform. So I'm always trying to understand root cause problems versus just trying to, solve the symptoms. And when people understand their personal financial management better, they better manage their business finances, and then they have more successful businesses. So that's why I kind of focused in on women for this particular business, because their challenges are a little bit different.
Very good. I want to thank you for sharing all of this with us today. So how can our audience find you?
So you can go to NextFemmeFinancial.com if you want to understand more about that company and take our free wealth wellness quiz. I happen to be the only Juana Whitmore in the world. So if you put my name into Google, you can connect with me on LinkedIn or find me all over the web.
Very good. Well, thanks again for being here. Thank you so much. And again, for our listeners, it's Juana Whitmore. It's Lajuana, and the last name Whitmore. Find her at nextfemmefinancial.com and again on LinkedIn. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at their site, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening to Cafe Networking Podcast. Talk to Tom, talk to the world.